All of this dropped without warning and was immediately seen for its significance as devastating evidence.
This sort of evidence is basically how prosecutors are going to tear down Trump's defense piece by piece.
That is a devastating blow for the former president.
There is no sort of, privacy exception to introducing at trial this kind of sharply incriminating information.
Golden evidence for prosecutors both in Georgia and in D.C.
It really should influence how we think about the election of 24.
There you have it, from a lot of different sources from when this broke last night. A big deal. And the truth is, the reason why you're seeing so many lawyers and other types who follow this closely react this way, what I'm going to show you right now, this is the first testimonial evidence from the Trump aides who confess. It locks in their testimony under oath. When we first got the first parts of this video last night, I mentioned that. Basically, we have heard about flipping. We've seen commitments to flip. We've seen written accounts that Mark Meadows and others may be participating. We haven't, until last night, gotten any actual video of any of that, which, by the way, is how it's supposed to be, and I'll get into that. But this is a big deal because, A, it locks them in, as I mentioned. So if somebody goes wobbly or starts spinning in a different direction, you've seen that in mafia courtroom trials and movies. Oh, maybe I didn't mean it. Well, they pull up the video that you're about to see. And two, it matters because it is the first substantive example of what these people are saying, which we didn't have before. So that is just legally important. As for the Georgia prosecutors, they know this is big. They are actually taking actions against what they are dubbing today an unauthorized leak, demanding an emergency motion to seal all this, trying to prevent any further leaks. And the journalists involved, I mentioned crediting some of the first people who broke this. We have the videos now to show you, but the first folks who had the scoop were ABC News, and the Washington Post got more of it. The revealed testimony itself shows a lot, and we're going to walk through it right now, because when you're covering this trial, the first headline is there is bad news here for those remaining defendants who are holding out. We've shown you the chart where you have key figures that face heat for the coup in Georgia and in the open Jack Smith case in D.C., where they're technically called unindicted co-conspirators, but all that means is they could get indicted later. And you have people like Giuliani and Eastman who are in that category. You see them on your screen. Well, they now face this newly revealed damning testimony from their former teammate, Sidney Powell. Now, this is a special report. We work on these all day as a team on the beat. I can tell you that. We're going to show some of these clips in some detail, not just the hottest or most sensational single quote, but I'm going to show you how this works for accuracy. And also, frankly, because we think it's interesting, we're going to go inside rooms we are never allowed in as the public or journalists. Here's Powell, under oath, reiterating her fact-free claims about how, in that desperate time where they'd already lost the election and everybody knew that, they still wanted to try to use instincts and speculation as a basis to continue the steal.
All his instincts told him he had been defrauded, that the election was a big fraud.
When you say his instincts, did he ever describe that in any way? Did he ever point to any kind of proof or evidence or anything he was getting from his other attorneys or experts?
Well, he talked about, seeing the vote totals roll backwards on the TV.
Meaning on election night?
Yeah. And the unbelievable spikes, how far ahead he was in different states at the time all the machines stopped counting, and how it should have been impossible to make up that sort of vote difference without some kind of shenanigans. Just general instincts that something wasn't right here.
I think you had said before, his instincts were that he had lost, and if it got to the point where he felt he didn't lose or that he did not win, that he would back out or bow.
No, his instinct was he had won.
Instincts, not facts or evidence. Now I'm going to show you where the prosecutors try to pin down how Powell, now a convict, and Trump, the RICO defendant, basically were on notice that they didn't have legally valid evidence. And that's what matters, because they were trying to file, remember, lawsuits or argue that there was some level of fraud, which was a lie, that would justify the very extreme measures they wanted to take. They didn't have that. They only had instincts. Listen as she tries to blur the issue. And remember, when she talks about evidence, this is someone whose evidence involved not what we would call legal evidence, but truly embarrassing and extreme claims like a time-traveling entity helped her understand that he hadn't really lost the election. She actually emailed people about this at Fox and elsewhere. It's why Donald Trump himself sometimes diminished Powell's contributions. She's a convict now for that kind of stuff. You can say that in certain forums, but you cannot say it to the government, and you certainly can't try to change election results based on those kind of lies. Take a listen.
You had said before, if he got to the point where, the facts were telling him you've lost, he would then bow out. That was either what he said to you or the sense that you got.
Yeah, he said something very clearly to that effect.
Okay, but then on the 18th, the only real justification that he's giving you to why he's not bowing out is that his instincts tell him that he won.
That and the evidence that I'd showed him.
The evidence, of course, including the time travel. So we're really putting a lot of a weight on the word evidence here. And a jury's going to hear all this and have to decide whether any of that was reliable enough, believable enough, true enough to justify the things that they were doing. And again, the DA has won every round. Nobody has gotten near a trial. Everybody has confessed. Powell is talking about Giuliani and what he said to her. And remember, she's now agreed to testify against him. Take a listen.
You remember the December 21st meeting with Phil Waldron and Mark Meadows and Rudy Giuliani that you went to?
Oh, yeah.
Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, that's the one where Rudy got really ugly. There was a big shouting match in which Rudy called me every name in the book. And I was the worst lawyer he'd ever seen in his life. There were no circumstances under which he'd work with me on anything. He called me I don't know what all. And that's pretty much all I remember about that one.
Now, that is bleeped under our standards, but it is significant to think about these two people whose lives have come together and now split. And that is where she stands with RICO defendant Giuliani. Another session, newly revealed, features Trump campaign lawyer Jenna Ellis recounting the exact moment that a then Trump White House aide admitted the whole plan was a coup, to stay in office no matter what. All of the other stuff, theatrics, press conferences, lawsuits that were going nowhere, none of that, in their view, was part of a legitimate effort to litigate this. And if you followed our coverage all the way back to when I was on air covering it at the time, I said, you have the right to file lawsuits. You just have to respect the results. You have the right to make criticisms of the election. You just have to ultimately respect the results. By this point, you had a President-elect Biden. Everybody was going through the transition process. And at this point, in that time, this lawyer, who was a Trump loyalist at the time, learned, even as she was relaying that obvious legal fact and reality, that there was another coup plan in place. So she learns that as she explains to them that they lost, and it was, quote, essentially over.
I emphasized to him, I thought that the claims and the ability to challenge the election results was essentially over. He said to me in a kind of excited tone, well, we don't care and we're not going to leave. And I said, what do you mean? And he said, well, the boss, meaning President Trump, and everyone understood the boss, that's what we all called him. He said the boss is not going to leave under any circumstances. We are just going to stay in power. And I said to him, well, it doesn't quite work that way, you realize. And he said, we don't care.
Damning evidence for trial. I want to put up that key part here. Ellis saying, I emphasized to him, the challenging of the election results was, quote, essentially over. And he, the Trump aide Scavino, says, in an excited tone, we don't care. We're not going to leave. Now, this is basically the Trump lawyer's Drake moment. Ellis saying it's over, starting to question her choices. As Drake memorably said, what am I doing? What am I doing? Well, this is what we do till it's over. And when the Trump lawyer tells them it's over, the White House replies, as the song goes, quote, but it's far from over. Well, that was a warning sign for Trump lawyer Ellis that she did not heed at the time, which is why she is now a convict. And as it happens, the same song makes another very relevant reference. Quote, I know way too many people here right now that I didn't know last year. Who the heck are y'all? Well, Drake was talking about his newfound supposed friends after becoming famous. Ellis might find the same bar applies to her supposed new friends, Giuliani and Powell. If you look at that press conference right there, Ellis has been convicted. Powell has been convicted. Giuliani awaits their damning testimony in court. All of that led Jenna Ellis down a path that was far more than over. It was a crime, leading to her now very infamous confession and courtroom apology.
I believe in and I value election integrity. If I knew then what I know now, I would have declined to represent Donald Trump in these post-election challenges. I look back on this whole experience with deep remorse.
Deep remorse. This is the legal process. It took a long time. There was a lot of lies and BS. There was a lot of foot drag. There was a lot of doubt about whether any of this would go anywhere. And even now there's skepticism. People say, is this enough? There should be more. What will happen to the big fish? What will happen to defendant Donald Trump? The DA made some news today saying his trial could come after the election. That's when it might only be concluded. Well, no one said the process is perfect or that it always works. But we are getting a window into how it works. And these RICO sessions, these proffer interviews are part of the nuts and bolts and the testimony, even if the DA, by her own public statement, is upset that they're out right now because that wasn't, she says, the strategy. This stuff can and will be used as key testimonial evidence against the remaining defendants, some of whom are apparently holding out. And that's why we want to show you the big picture that we've been tracking, because the DA has these 6 plots in the indictment. Ellis's guilty plea that we just talked about goes to that arrow about Georgia overturning the votes. Then there's the issues around soliciting officials. Giuliani's accused of that. Cheeseborough and Powell have guilty pleas that go to other plots, the fake electors plot, the voting data breach. We've seen convictions here. And so when you take this all together, what do we have in these secret, now revealed RICO sessions? We have exactly why the people involved in the other plots should be nervous.